still having this conversation.
We're being everywhere on this topic. But I think that it's okay for people who pick and choose what works for them. And I am a Christian. I believe in the Christian values. I live by them. But I understand that it's not everybody that is bound by it. And the Bible has told me not to judge. So I'm not going to come on TV and start saying that everybody that does not live by Christian values or Islamic value does not have a life, cannot impact the world. You are using phone. No? All of you, those who use iPhone. The owner of iPhone, he did not go to church, yet he created. So life has given human beings ability to add value and create. Regardless of religion, you can still do. So I'm not going to judge people for their life, their mistakes, their errors. David in the Bible, he slept with a person as a king. Killed the person, husband, and yet is a man after God's heart. So even within all of these things, we must be willing to forgive ourselves. So that woman that has had 3, 4 body counts, 5 body counts, is still a child of God.
That's what I want.
He's still a Christian. God can still use her to birth solution to Nigeria's problem.
Beg for mercy.
And she can still beg for mercy, and she will still be accepted back. So you sat down inside your room, and you're counting for her that she don't do 5 or 10 years down the line, she never marry. Continue. You will meet your own. She has gone to meet God. She is already enjoying grace, and she will still marry by God's grace if that's what she desires, and she will still be fulfilled. But we have a society that judges too much. And we judge based on our limited worldview. I don't like that.
Same yesterday, today, and so even though, yes, we are willing to understand it, but the Bible doesn't change.
The Bible forgives. Inside the Bible, they forgive. Oh. They forgive for inside the Bible. Who be the greatest apostle for Jesus? The prophet that preached everywhere. The woman at the well, that woman was a woman that has had how many men?
Yes. 5. Jesus counts
so God counts her for him, and yet she still forgive.
Right?
The girl did not premeditate it. Let's not judge.
Wait now.
Now who only pass? Who be me?
Sexual misconduct now.
Premeditated.
It's very calculated. So the woman in the well, she was a woman of the road. She did not meet God.
She was in the streets.
The Bible that me, small one that I know. She did not know God. By the time she knew God, did she go back and sin as an affront to God and say God has forgiven?
Yeah, so we assume everybody that goes to church.
So repentance without remorse is God's work to do. I don't understand. Oh, are confusing me a lot.
No. So we assume that everybody who is found in the house of God actually knows God. That's what we assume. So once you are in a religious house, your standards must be so high. No, listen, the church or the mosque or everywhere allows a mixed multitude.
Now, hospital.
When your change comes, only by yourself you will make that transformation.
Exactly.
So when we judge generally, we just bracket everybody who goes to church as
holy.
So we are talking to listeners now who know themselves. Whether the one that walk into God's house does not know God, or the one that knows God and says, let me just do it in the morning. I know someone very religious. This one I know, and he has the knowledge of the Quran. And when he travels out of this country, he will call the phone number, they will give him somebody.
They wouldn't.
When he comes here, he will do salah to all the forgiving prayers. He will become holy. When he travels, he will say it's a travel need. And I asked him, this affront on God, as in that you are putting your finger right in God's eyes and say, judge not. Are you inside the people they will not judge too?
It's not here for you to judge. Let God judge.
No. That's a unique relationship. It's between you and God, really. But those are not the things you popularize.
The pressure for women is that the world is judging them. Everybody.
Men too.
They are judging. Not as much as women. Everybody is judging the woman. She already feels condemned that she's not in a relationship, and yet you see her. Where is your boyfriend? When are you going to marry? Everybody, everywhere, same way. So it is not your job to judge the woman. Your job, my dear brothers and sisters watching me, is to support that single girl around you, because the scratch can be scratching her, and your pressure is making it worse. So support her, pray for her.
Let me
inside
ask
that place.
$1 million question.
Okay, here you go, Nick.
When the scratch is scratching a woman like that, how does she get it done?
The scratch for inside marriage, safe.
Wait.
But let's say the single
outside marriage.
When the scratch is scratching me as a single woman, how would I sort it out?
I will resort to my Bible. Bible says, flee all appearances of evil. Flee. They did not say chest.
It's not evil.
Scratching.
No.
That the result of the scratch, if you eat the scratch,
it's not evil.
It's evil. That's fornication.
Well,
it's evil.
Yeah.
So once you eat that scratch, it's evil. So because you don't want to eat the scratch, what you will do is you will flee the appearance. That guy that is entering your eye, that every time you see him, your entire hormone, everywhere will just they do brrr. You'll be feeling it. If he just brush by you like this, we know. And when I was single, if you just brush by, you just do like this, you just be like,
you're melting.
When you see that man, you will not be inside the same room with the man. You will flee.
But why should she put herself on that kind of torture?
You will not tell the... No. You see, let me give you the strategy finish. That man that gives you giz-giz, that when you look at him, you just melt. Your speck, that you did not even know there was a speck, but when you see him, your body connects with it. Your body receives the call that you did not place. Now you find that man, and the man is in a relationship with you.
Somebody else?
With you. Maybe you're dating.
Okay.
And there's a high likelihood of
yeah.
temptation leading into what you don't want.
You settle down.
You communicate and say, let's tie the knot. And sometimes we now judge the woman that she's being too pushy and all of that, but she's sacrificing to protect herself.
Because I heard a story, I think the woman sent it to my inbox, something where she did everything by the books.
And it did not work.
Single girl. You know,
that's her life, that's her destiny.
When she's feeling that skinny cocky, because she goes to the Bible, she'll flee. She doesn't go to parties. She won't go to clubs. She won't go to where men are staying. You know, she's just being goes to church, meeting, home, and everything. And she told me, I think I was 56 years old, and I wished I lived.
Yeah.
I wished I didn't do all those things they asked me to do, where I was just saying, I just lived my life, traveled, met people, did some doings around, experienced the doing that. I am virgin at 55, and I feel like my life just passed. So people are having real issues.
So there's a story we heard
somebody
yesterday,
else do. I wish that she stayed.
Everybody around me was not saying, it's not good to be this bad girl they pay. That bad girl they pay, because we heard the story of someone who is getting married this year, and the man just bought her she's a side chick, but now she's going to marry. The man is going to marry her. She's driving a car. She goes to church, our WhatsApp story, every time is scripture, in the morning, scripture. But we know she has a side chick. She has a business.
She's the side chick.
She's the side chick. The business was funded by the Oga. The Oga bought car. The Oga bought land. Now the Oga has bought house for her and is now going to marry her. So now, the other people that were hearing the story are now saying that, now so this girl go marry.
Life, no balance.
Like this girl go actually marry. Small girl, big God. She go marry you. And we they look God. Life is not equal. All fingers are not equal. Some people will commit sin and they will escape. You go just do one like this, like HIV/AIDS. So don't compare yourself with another person.
And also, piousness is not a reward.
Social media.
It's not a reward for marriage. Your ability to keep
marriage is not a reward for piousness.
A reward for piousness, for being righteous, being holy. You are not guaranteed that your reward will now be a very sweet and successful marriage. It doesn't go that way. So the question you'll be asking yourself is, what are my needs? What are my immediate needs? How do I make myself happy? How am I in a place where I know who I am and nothing phases me? Whether it comes or not, I am good. And that's what I'm still saying that society should help people get to. Whether it comes or not, you are good. You are in the place where you are whole and you live a life of impact at every level that you find yourself. Those ones come as additional jara. And I also believe that it's not everybody that would be married. I know that that's what society wants and wishes, but look around you. Just look around you. How many people are we? How many women are we compared to how many men? And how many women do we think would actually have this marriage? So don't make those people who don't fall into the bracket to feel less of themselves. That's what I'm preaching.
I used to wonder, there's this woman, I won't mention her name, that very popular woman, and I used to read her books back then. She was a single, and I was in a conference with her recently, online conference. She's 66 this year. And when I knew about her, I was a single girl. I used to read her books. I used to love her. And I was thinking to myself, okay, between that time, because she was single then,
and she's
between that time and now.
She's still single?
She's still single at 66. How has she been doing? She's a woman of God.
She's not doing.
So she's not doing.
Still do.
You cannot.
How can she do?
How can she not do?
Because it's a natural thing, right? The natural God has created our bodies to do.
If you are a mature single, call into the show.
So
we need to know if you are doing or you're not doing.
How do you know?
Because I don't know.
Right, just last night I was speaking with a divorcee. She's been divorced because our youngest child is almost at the end of his teenage years. And she was saying, I wanted marriage, I wanted the love and everything. I got married, I had 3 kids, and it looked like I wasn't going to get that love. marriage was killing me. She said it was killing me. And I chose to divorce and respect myself. You know that I will not leave the question with how, why all of that. So I kept saying, why didn't you then remarry? Because, she said, when I was young, I saw a divorced woman from my community that married, she's from the East, that married several husbands. And the burial was so confusing. I don't want to put my kids in that box. I left there knowing this person knows every decision in your own consequence. She said that at that burial, the person died. The first son came, insisted that it's duty to bury his mom. The younger son said, no, I will bury because my father was the one that paid dowry something. The one that had the subsisting dowry from his dad insisted. Everybody was dragging the corpse back and forth. She said, I don't want to confuse my kids. So when I had 3 kids, I thought, if I decide to remarry or have another relationship, I might end up having another child with another person. I don't want the drama. Every decision you make, as you sit in your corner of your house, when you are finished lying to the world, they are finished. You will tell yourself the truth.
Yeah.
I have chosen that God says marriage must. I have chosen that this is how it will work, this is how it will work. The things I can negotiate, I'm negotiating them in my marriage and doing things other people would not even do in my religion. Some people will not be able to walk. They can't even sit on a TV station and talk less of people. They can't even mix outside, talk less of talk. I run a partnership with men. It is not a regular Islamic setup. Because if I were going to the court, also I will meet men. I chose who will I choose that is closest to my maram. Somebody who we grew up together, went to school together, whose father and my father were colleagues and scholars. I started a partnership. You do things, but you must always try as much as possible to be guided by what you believe. You don't be saying you go come sit down tomorrow, you go and don't eat with my own.
And then we believe different things.
Let's take a few comments. We're going. The show is rounding up. Let's take a few comments.
Yes. So Mount Rushmore says, Piousness is indeed rewarded in marriage. Many who married as virgins are doing great. Mina TP says, it's all this shaming that pushes people into unhappy marriages. Let women be. D-Play says, you can keep yourself and still enter a bad marriage.
Let me take Oduayo, they'll take more comments. Oduayo, thanks for calling.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm the first caller.
First time caller.
Welcome.
Come to the show.
Yeah, I appreciate your program so much. I've always been keeping my company.
Thank you.
I think I go with your own idea and Naima's idea. For Tokwe and BC, I also appreciate it, but try to be realistic.
Now our own reality we share, so.
The reality I'm saying is that it's not easy for a man or a woman to say he wants to stay alone and he will not commit immorality. That's my contribution.
Thank you very much.
You cannot escape immorality one way or the other.
So, okay. I have Prof says, Professor Imonoka Enahena says, no one puts pressure on anyone to do what they ought not to do, except that they allow people to dictate what our moral and ethos should be. Oftentimes, what happened is the society expects certain morals from us. It is an acculturation of our values where our conscience, our own conscience, so can become our judge also. Being a single mother does not define our strength or weakness, but for our folks back home, marriage creates a sense of moral security and religious safety net that creates perception within our enshrined community affiliation that may help us grow stronger as a person. So that you choose to stay single doesn't necessarily show anything. It's your circumstances that it only defines. And it can be, your choice can also be limiting of you based on what you view as moral or immoral.
I have some messages.
From your conscience, from yourself alone, leave society away.
Before we do conscience, before you do comments, please, can we, how many women actually choose to be single? Many of them is life that happened to them.
Yeah.
So when life has happened to you and you're single, the real challenge now is they are listening to you and they are wondering, hey, with all this cinema is saying, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? Because really, they don't choose to be single.
Women are choosing.
Some are choosing, but majority are not. Ojibade did not say she chose to be single, though. She chose to be happy in her singlehood because she had been served breakfast. So, and somebody is still looking at her and saying, how can you? You're consoling yourself. You're not truly...
No, let's not flog that woman. You know that woman was subscribing to an interview.
Yes, so,
now I have a young...
Hafsa, please.
So,
how do you think Reverend sisters are doing? if they are okay without doing the do, then why are you doubting other women that also choose to be celibate? Mariah, this is for you. Stop doubting them.
I'm stirring up the conversation. That's
all
my job.
single women are not sleeping around. Okay.
So I have a young girl who chose to be single. She's just 30 this year. I asked her, you know, she just kept saying, no, I just want to be single, I just want to be single. And one day, because of my overpromise, she broke down crying. She had been served breakfast. Is it one breakfast that you will decide singlehood for the rest of your life? Or that your conviction that this and this and this are what I think marriage will bring? Companionship will limit. You know what you're getting. This one now, you're just reacting to breakfast. As if things will not happen in life again that will be breakfasting you. That life, once you take away that one, life will be bed of roses.
Okay, it's over.
Business,
Right, let me take Kazim. Kazim calling from Abuja. Thanks for calling your live.
Hello, good morning.
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 How are you today?
You're fine.
First time caller.
We're successful.
Welcome to the show.
Well, I actually appreciate the topic. And it's very important that... hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Very clearly. Please go ahead.
Yes. It's very important to know that this topic is very important to us as a human being. You guys have done well in various... hello?
You're listening to the TV. That's why. Okay, go ahead. Any more comments on social media?
Yeah. So, truth is saying, Mariah is the realist, but she's steering the conversation, so calm down. Some people choose to be single based on childhood experiences, which is buttressing what Nima said. Somebody said, each person should speak for themselves. Some people choose, okay, so they are commenting and replying each other on YouTube. It's a bit difficult to...
What about on X? Nobody's on X. Okay, so we're wrapping up very soon, right? I think really we've kind of
thoroughly
torn this topic into
I saw
different
one
angles.
now. Yeah, God's child says, I'm a 61-year-old lady. I have been celibate since 1992 or 93.
Jesus.
I'm a woman of God. I went for a Christian conference and heard about sexually transmitted demons.
Eh!
That impacted me. I repented. So it's also
Jesus.
okay.
Wow.
Okay, I have somebody here. I won't mention her name. She says, Mariah, I'm 60 this year and never married. I can safely say I am a good and decent woman by God's grace. Unfortunately, life happened and the men just took advantage of me. It's all about God, Mariah. It's not about beauty, not about being domesticated. It's about God. Life is a mystery. Above all, it's a sin to allow any man make you unhappy, my view. So, I mean, which is great. I mean, so lots of women are there, they are single and they are happy and decent in their own right.
Yeah.
I guess society is just wondering, okay.
How are you surviving this?
Ola Didi said, truth be told, me, I'm not single, but if I become single, I go do. I'm not wired for that. That is why I married, so I don't sin.
That choice.
That's
Well,
Nima's.
so what we have talked about today, as far as I'm concerned, is about choices. It's about the consequences of our choices and how to dignifiedly carry those choices. If or deal with the consequences.
With dignity.
If you choose, carry it with dignity. And when everybody respects themselves, society will not need to put down rules. This is where these people, where we don't respect ourselves, we need to guide. It's just like guiding against crime. Society created the rules as well that we drafted into what our laws are today. Whatever your choice is, chest
Own it
and
with your
well.
chest.
Carry yourself well. Be like my friend last night who says, I want to respect myself. Don't be like, when you now goof on the side, you blame society, use excuse all the time, using society for excuse. Do what you want to do for yourself and do it well.
You are the society.
My final comment would be that single people, single, you know, keep person.
Yes, sir.
And you can live a full life, adding value, transforming your world, impacting your world, solving problems, being happy, and yet your name will live on after you as a single person. Oprah no born, she no marry. We are remembering her name, and I'm sure after she's gone, we'll remember her name. So choose to live a robust life, even if you are single, as you trust God. Meanwhile, I'm very happily married. I'm not going to be in.
Go ahead.
Yes, so I'm grateful to God for those of us that found marriage. I'm grateful to God for those of us that are believing they will find. The expectations of the righteous will not be cut off. If you're believing, it will come to you. Just keep believing. I'm also grateful to God to those who, for whatever circumstances, have chosen to be by themselves. You are complete. You are a full human being. Just work on being valued, that wherever you go, you are responsible, you hold yourself accountable, and do not allow anybody or society to limit you and tell you you are what you are not. Be bold and be brave.
Fantastic. I think I'll just say finally on my own point is that I think don't let anybody judge you. Only God can judge anybody. Decisions you make is you, between you. But what Nima was saying earlier was that whatever decision you do choose to make, understand and accept and embrace the consequences of those choices. And I think that's, for me, is the most powerful angle of this. That's all we can take on today's show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.